Okay, in this session, I would like to talk about designing your website from the beginning. Okay, in this topic, we will focus on those things before we start to write code, before we start to design our web page. What should we do? What should we do? There are several things should be considered before we start to design, start to write code. Okay, so in this session we will focus on those things before we start to design, to write code. Okay, so there are several issues should be considered. The first one is some issues before starting. Before starting, we have to consider the target, the maybe target, maybe why should we have the website and how to design it and so on. So there are some issues should be considered before starting. And then we need to consider the people, the related people, maybe the target user or the owner of the website or your boss who ask you to design a particular website and so on. So the second one is the people, the related people should be considered. And then what's next? Could we start to write code? Could we start to use the authoring tool to design our web page? After we consider the several issues and after we consider target user, can we start to write code? Okay, so we will discuss some issues here. And then finally, in the last, we will have some conclusion of this section. Okay, so before we start to write, start to think, actually not just write code, start to think about detail of your web page, we should consider these issues before we start to think about to design the website. Okay, so the first thing is, why do you want to have a website? Why? You need to answer the question. Why do you have a website? Or somebody asks you to help him, to help the company to construct a website. You need to ask them, why? Why do you need a website? Because this is the purpose of this website. We have to understand the need. Why do they need? Why do you need? Why do you want to have the website? So we can consider what content should be put into the website, because we must understand the requirement. The requirement. Why do you need? Why do they need? Why do you want to have the website? Okay, so why is, if you have to, you must answer this question, or you must ask somebody to get the information about why do they need the website, why do you have the website. Okay, so the second one is, what do you want to say in your website? You want to say a story, you want to say something in your website, so it is related to why, right? Because you have some reason you want to have the website, so you have to say something to fit the reason, to fit the requirement. So what do you want to say? Because you need to, I want for example, I want to design my personal website. Why do I need a personal website? Because I want to every student to understand me easily, or they can get the teaching material from my personal website quickly. Okay, so I have some reason, because of this reason I want to have a website. Okay, so in my website I need to tell the story about, to tell something. I want to put every teaching materials in my website. I want to let my student understand me. I want to let the co-workers find the information from my personal website. For example, the publication list or the teaching material or something else. Okay, so I want this, the first question and the second question is related. Okay, because you have some reason you need to have a website. Okay, so in order to fit this reason, you need to put something in your website. So what, you have to answer this question. What do you want to say in your website? This should be related to the first question. Okay, the third one is, who will be interested in your website? Okay, this is related to the layout. related to layout. If the website have some particular target user, maybe they should be considered in while you design the layout. For example, I want to design a website. The target user is the kids. Is the kids. I want to collect some learning material for the kids. Okay, so I need to design the layout should be very colorful because the kids always like colorful things. So maybe my layout should be very colorful. Okay, for example, if your target user is the maybe some young girls, so maybe you have to use some warm color, pink, red, or something like this. The warm color will attract the young ladies. Okay, so different target user, you have some different way to design your layout. So you need to consider who will be interested in your website. Maybe your target user is the normal people. It's okay. But if your target user is some particular group, maybe their interesting should be considered while you design the layout. And then the next question is how do you want to design your web page? How to design your web page? So this is the uh, more serious problem because you need to know the content and you how to organize this content and how to appear this content on your website. So it considered about the structure of your content and the layout of your web page. Okay, so how may be a serious problem, but in this step you still need to say how you have some initial thought how to design your web page. You must have some initial thought before you start to write the code. Okay, so these four issues should be considered before we start to design to write code about our website. We must know why do we need the website and what do we want to put in the website and who will be the target user and then how to design it, how to design the web page. Okay, after we considered the issues about why, what, who, and how, these four issues, after we answer the question about these four issues, the next step is to consider the related people, So there are two kinds of related people. The first one is the target user. Okay, so we need to know the requirement of our target user, what they want to find in our website, or what they want to know, what kind of information they want to know from in our website. Okay, so we need to know the requirement of our target user, and then we can collect the correct information, the correct content in our website. Okay, so we need to understand what they want. Okay, so this is very important because in many cases the designer only consider about themselves, what I want to put in my website. Okay, so in many cases the designer only think about what I want to put in my website, but they don't consider what do the target user want to see, want to find in my website. Okay, so this is very important to think about the requirement of your target user. It helps you to put the correct content, correct information in your website. Okay, so this is quite important. I give you some example. For example, in my Department of Information Communication, they ask me to revise the website. Okay, so I have to consider about our target user. Who is our target user? There are two kinds of target user. Basically, there are two kinds of target user. The first one is the current student. Okay, when the current student go visit our website, what do they want to find? We have to think about this question. What do they want to find in the website? Mostly they may want to find information about the course. They want to figure out what kind of course they need to take, and maybe they want to find the information about the scholarship of the information about the internship. Okay, they need they need some documentation. They want to download some document when they want to apply something. Okay, so we need to consider to ask what do you want to find from our website. This is the first target user. The second one is the future student, maybe the high school student now. When high school student go to our website, what they want to know, they would like to know what the student in this department learn, right? And what's the result. So we need to give them. They do not want to know the detailed information, but they want to know the basic concept of what is Department of Information Communication. What do they learn in this department, and what's the result after they study in this department for 4 years, and what's the result? What kind of people they will become? Okay, so the high school student, they don't need to know the detail about for example, the internship or the courses, but they need to know the picture. They need to imagine if they go to this department, what will they be? So we will show the result of our graduation project. Okay, the result of our activity. So they can imagine the college life to attract them to join our department. Okay, so the purpose of these two kinds of student of target user is different. So I need to put different content for these different user in the same website. Okay, so we need to realize what kind of target user, who is our target user, and what do they want from the website. Okay, maybe we have many target user. Maybe the some other parents, the student parents, maybe another target user. So we need to consider about their requirement, what they want to know about our department. Okay, so we have some major target user. You need to know who will visit your website and what do they want to get from your website. So this is the first kind of user we need to consider. And the second one is the supervisor, or we say boss, or sometimes just yourself, or the designer, or the one who decide to have the website, the owner or the supervisor or the boss or yourself. So you need to consider the requirement, what they want to put into this website. So if this is a website of your department, maybe for example in my department, okay, I need to ask my boss, my department chair, what do you want to put in this website? Or I need to ask the dean of the college, or maybe even the supervisor of the school, maybe the president, the vice president, or something. They will tell me what should I put in the website. Okay, so your supervisor will tell you, oh, I want to put something maybe for in the company. Maybe your boss want to say something to the client, to say something to the customer. So you need to write a web page for your boss and put something he want to say in that page. Even I think nobody will interested in that page, but your boss very enjoy to say something. Sometimes. Okay, so you need to consider the what they want to put in the website. But this is maybe some conflict with the first one. You know, the target user is the most important. So you need to consider the requirement of your target user. But the boss is not important. No, the boss is very important, right? It's your boss, your supervisor. So he is very important. So you still need to consider his requirement. So how to make the balance between the supervisor and the target user is very important. So you need to try to well organize your page to fit the requirement of your boss, your supervisor, and you have to fit the requirement of the target user, and to especially make the target user easy to find the information they need. So if they don't need the information of your supervisor, what your supervisor care is okay. Just let the target user easily to find the information they want, but still put the information of the required information of your supervisor want to put into your page in some particular location, but you must find the balance. Still make the target user easy to find their result, even your web page contains some useless information. I say useless information because this information is just your supervisor, your boss want you to put in your web page, but maybe it is not necessary. But you still need to put this information to your web page because your boss like it. Okay, so you need to find the balance point to well organize the information to fit both the requirement of your target user and your supervisor. Okay, the last one is the ranking algorithm. Sometimes basically this slide is for the university network ranking. I mean, I give this speech to the school, some other university in some other country, and I tell them how to fit the requirement of the ranking, because ranking is another important issue, because if you want your web page located in the higher ranking, there are several different ranking methods. So they will tell you how to rank the ranking algorithm. So you need to understand the ranking algorithm, so you can make your website higher ranking. So for the university, they have some special ranking algorithm. So I just tell them how to prepare the ranking, the content to fit the requirement of the ranking algorithm. Also, the Google, they have some ranking algorithm for the website. So while you type some keywords, you will get some result, and the result is by some ranking algorithm. Of course, some of the results is by because you pay something to the Google. So you this is advertisement, so they will show you a result in a high ranking. But basically, they have a ranking algorithm. So sometimes we call it search engine SEO, search engine optimization. So you need to try to modify your web page, the structure of your web page to fit the requirement of the ranking algorithm. Okay, so this is advanced issue about the ranking algorithm. So in the beginning, so we need to consider the target user and the supervisor. I think it's okay, but in the future, maybe you can try to figure out the ranking algorithm to make your web page higher ranking. But I think this is the advanced requirement. The basic requirement is the target user and the supervisor. Is the basic requirement. So you need to fit both their requirement to make your web page more easily to find the information for the target user. I think this is the most important issue here. Okay, what's next? After we consider about the requirement of the target user or the requirement of our supervisor or both, what's next? Can we start to write code, or can we start to use the authoring tool? Because sometimes we can directly write code. In this program, I just want to show you how to write code. But sometimes you can use some authoring tool also. You can use some authoring tool to design your web page. But after we considered the requirement of the target user, can we start to write code, or can we start to use the authoring tool? I think the answer is no, because it's not enough, right? You know your target, you know what your target user require, what do they want to see in your web page, but you have to think how to show your result. because I understand. Oh, they want the course information, they want the internship information, they want to download the document, and they want to know something. But how to organize this information? How to organize this content to our target user? I think this is a very important issue. So we before we start to write the code, before we start to use the authoring tool, we have to think about the content. What kind of the content I want to put in the website, and how to organize this content, because I got a lot of information. I want to give the target user a lot of information. I have to organize this information because the they should easy to find the information from our website. So we need to well organize this content. So sometimes you go to the university webpage, it is very challenging to design it is a huge challenge to design a university webpage because they have a lot of information want to show in the webpage. So how to design the layout and how to organize the content is very, very important for the university web page. So you can go to different university web page. You will figure out that the the common the the common point is they are very complex. Most of the university web page is very complex because there are a lot of too many information want to show in their web page. Okay, so it is a huge challenge to try to organize this information. Uh, so although in our own web page, we need to consider the target user, the requirement of target user, the requirement of our boss or supervisor, and then we have to think about how to organize this content. They from the information, from the requirement that we know what kind of content we should collect and we should put in our web page. But next, we have to organize this content and try to tell a story in our website to the target user to let them easily to find the information. Okay, so before we start to write the code, before we start to use the authoring tool, we need a two-phase web design procedure. Okay, so actually to write the code is or to use the authoring tool to design your web page is the second phase. Is the second phase. I mean, I call that the implementation phase. It's real to implement by using the code to write the HTML5, to write CSS3, to write JavaScript, to write jQuery, or even jQuery Mobile. To use this code, or even you can use the Dreamweaver, you can use the maybe Mobilize or some authoring tool. It's okay, but this is after you think about your content, after you figure out what kind of content and you organize your content, and then you can start to implement it by writing the code or by using the authoring tool. So this is the second phase. I say implementation phase. After you have already designed, think about the content, the structure of your web page, you can start try to implement it by by writing the code or by using the authoring tool. But before we start to write the code, before we start to implement our web page, we need a design phase. In the design phase, we have to consider about the content. First, what kind of content I want to put in our web page? What kind of content do I want to put in my web page? The content is based on the requirement of your target user and your supervisor. Okay, after we analyze the requirement of our target user and our supervisor, we can understand what kind of content do I need to put in our website. And then we can consider about the structure, how to well organize this content. Well organize this content because the content may be huge, a lot of information. How to organize this content to make it easier to understand, to find the information. Okay, so the second phase, the second one is the structure of our web page, and then the layout. Finally, we need to consider the layout, how to design our layout for the user to easily to understand the content we want to tell the user. Okay, so this is the design phase. This is the design phase. Okay, so after we consider the what content should I put in my website and how to organize this content, the structure, and then I consider about the layout, the design of layout. So we can start to write code. We can go to the implementation phase to use the HTML code, the CSS rules, JavaScript to implement the result of the previous design. Okay, so you can draw a picture. You can draw a picture about what you want, your target layout, and you can try to use HTML to fit this requirement. Okay, so in the last step of the design phase is layout. Okay, so after you draw the layout, you can in the next step you try to use the HTML code, the CSS rule to implement this kind of layout. So actually the design phase is the first part of the web design, and followed by the implementation phase. Okay. So when I want to planning our website, we need to do the following things. This is the plan. This is the design phase. Okay. So the first one is storytelling. You need to tell a story about your topic. Okay. For example, I want to design a website for my department. So I need to tell something. In this case, I say tell storytelling. It's not really want you to tell a story. It's more like to introduce your topic. You need to introduce your topic. If I want to design a website of my department, I need to introduce my department. Okay, so I need to tell you about my department. Everything I want to put in my website, I need to tell you everything about my department. So the first step is a storytelling step. You need to tell a story about the topic, about your topic, and then after the storytelling, you can understand what kind of content do you want to put in your website, and then you can try to collect the information or collect the data. I want to tell a story about Asia University. So after I tell the story, after I introduce Asia University, I can start to collect information. I say we have a beautiful campus, so I need to collect a lot of pictures to show our beautiful campus, right? So if I based on your introduction, you need to find the corresponding information to support your story, support your introduction about the topic. So the second step is to collect the information, the data, including the text, the image, music, video, and so on. And then we have to consider about the structure, how to organize the content. After we tell the story, we need to organize the content. Okay, the organization of the content should be fit to the structure of the website. Okay, so for example, how many pages do I want to in my website, and what is the structure of the website, and what is the relationship between the pages. Okay, so we need to consider these questions after we collect the information, after we tell
or we introduce our topic. The third step is to construct the structure. To construct the structure. Okay, in the storytelling, I will in the future I will give you a homework to do this. So don't worry about this. I will the the design phase. I will give you some assignment step by step for you to complete the design phase. So please don't worry about this. Okay, in the storytelling part, you have to understand your topic. Okay, you have to understand your topic, and then you try to introduce your topic. In my previous experience, I asked my student to say a 5 minute story or 5 minutes introduction to their target. You must record 5 minutes or 5 minutes introduction to your target what you want to say in your website. Okay, so you need to tell a story about 5 minutes, and then you have to make a presentation. You make a presentation to some people, some others. So before you make a presentation, you need to prepare a slide. So you have to organize the content, the 5 minutes story. Okay. So in the first step, I will ask you to tell a 5 minute story, and then to transfer it to a normal presentation with slide. Okay, so you have to organize your content. You have to reorganize your content and to make some slide. So this is the slide can be transferred to the structure of your website. Okay, so this is a very interesting procedure. You have to tell a story and try to organize your story and make some presentation. After your presentation, you can transfer the slide into the structure of your website. Okay, so this is a step-by-step procedure for you to construct the structure of your website. Okay, so in the future, I will give you some homework to help you to think about this issue, to complete the design phase. Okay, so I will ask you to find the subject and try to tell a story about this and make some presentation and construct your structure and then think about your layout. Okay, so this is not a technique part, so I will give you many assignment step by step for you to complete your layout of your structure of your website and the layout of your web page. Okay, so please don't worry about this. And the implementation phase in the rest of this course, we will focus on the implementation phase. The design phase, I will give you some homework to guide you, to give you some hint to step by step to complete the design phase. Okay, but the implementation phase, I will give you different sections to talk about HTML, talk about CSS3, talk about JavaScript, talk about jQuery, or even jQuery Mobile. Okay, so the rest of this course will focus on implementation phase, but I will give you some hint, help you to complete the design phase, and in the end of this program, you will have a well-designed website. Okay, so I hope you can create a well-designed website in the end of this program. Okay, this is the different structure. Okay, so sometimes you will have the breadth structure, or sometimes you will have the depth structure. But I think I will give you some further discussion about this structure after we consider the presentation. Okay, so after I will ask you to find your subject and to tell a story and to try to make some presentation and try to transfer it to your structure. And in this step, I will give you some more example about the breadth and the depth structure. Okay, so I just skip this in this case I just skip this slide because I think after you think about your structure, you will have more feeling about the structure. So I will talk about the breadth and depth structure in that case. Okay. About the layout of the web page, we need to consider the user interface and the user experience. So the next step is to design the main layout of the web page. You need to consider the based on your structure. Try to design your main layout of the web page. And in the main page, we always put some navigation bar, so you need to the navigation bars make the user aware where they are in the site. They can go to any place by using the navigation bar in your website. So this is the very important part for the user to realize where he is and where he can go, and he can easily to find the information he want by using the navigation bar. Okay, so after we consider about the structure, we can start to consider about the layout. I think this is the step-by-step procedure from the subject decision. You can decide your subject, try to tell a story to introduce your subject, and make some presentation and transfer it to the organization of your content and design your structure, and then you can try to think about your layout. And we will have a special session to talk about the layout, and I will invite another teacher to teach you about how to design, how to think about the layout. His specialty is the multimedia system, so he can use very many different multimedia software to help you to design your layout. Okay, so there's another special topic to talk about layout in the future. Okay, in the rest of this session, it means after we consider all the issues discussed in this section, we can finally start to design our website. Okay, thank you.